All right, again, so we're just starting this Nodejs stock application that we're writing. So we went out to GitHub, and in GitHub we clicked the plus sign, chose new repository, and we're calling this Nodejs stock app. We're going to leave it as public. We're not going to worry about a readme, a git ignore. We'll eventually go through that stuff as we have to. So click create repository, please. And what you should see then, is in that window you've got the HTTPS, etc. If you click the clipboard that's over on the far right, that'll copy it to the clipboard. We'll want to use that in just a couple minutes. Okay? All right. Any problems with any of that? Okay. Then let's go over and please, on your desktop, create a new folder, and we're going to call that Nodejs stock app. Spell it the exact same way, the exact same everything as what you just did, okay? And once you've got that, open that folder up, please. I know it's empty right now, I get that. All right, right mouse click in the folder and choose Git Bash here, which brings up our Git Bash window. And I'm not sure if we'll need it or not, so we wouldn't normally do this, but I'm going to ask you to open up another one too. All right, so open up another Git Bash here. That one just keep small or whatever, and just minimize that and bring up the first one you did, or bring up one of the ones that you did. All right, so you've got up, now it says desktop or whatever / node. Okay, great. Okay, right now, if we do, you don't have to, but if we do an ls, it comes back empty. There's nothing in it yet. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to create our Git repository by typing in git space init, hit enter, and it should say initialized empty Git repository, and now you have a .git folder in there. All right, no big thing. I mean, we've done that kind of thing before. All right, so let's see. Now there's other stuff that we can do, but the only thing that we really have to do right now, I shouldn't say even have to, but we are going to do right now, is I want you to type in the following command. All right, git, so this is, again, it's from your command line, and I want you to put in git space remote space add space origin, origin space, then paste in that path from what you just had from GitHub. So for example, mine says git space remote space add space origin space. Mine says https /github.com/jpscottrankin/ Nodejs stock app.git. Yours should be the same, except not JP Scott Rankin. Yours should be, Keegan Young or whatever you called yours. Okay, well then try going back again into your GitHub page, highlight all of it, and do a copy that way. And then when you want to paste it in, it won't do a regular paste. You got to right mouse click and then choose paste, because you're going to a terminal application. That's why it doesn't like it. Okay, do take. All right, then hit enter. Now we can double check to make sure that this worked okay. Type in git space remote space -v and hit enter. V as in victory, and hit enter. And it should have that same exact path you just put in twice. Once it says fetch and once it says push. You what? Okay. Work now? Okay. So clear your your screen that you've got right there. So we're still in our Git Bash window. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to create. Just type in this right now. Type in touch Do you want to call this main.js? Okay, so touch space main.js and hit enter. And you should notice then now you've got a main.js file in there too. All right, no big thing about that. It's just we just created a blank file. So let's do our npm init, and we're actually gonna add some stuff in here this time. Okay, so the package name Node.js stock app, that is the name of our folder, so that's fine. So hit enter. Version, that's okay. So hit enter. Description, I put this in. We're gonna put in something along these lines. I put this is a Node.js stock application utilizing an external API. And I can repeat that if you need me to. This is a Node.js stock application utilizing an external API. As long as it's something like that. All right. This may or may not be something you might eventually want to put in your portfolio. So it should look decent if somebody ever looks at it. All right, the entry point, yeah, it's main.js. That's what we want. The test command, we're going to work on that in just a minute. The repository, mine automatically filled it in. Okay, see, that's kind of nice about doing it the way we did it. All right. Keywords, we're actually going to add some. So let's put it here. Whoops, I don't know why I did that. So for keywords, I put in node, comma, node.js, comma, stock market, put it in as 2 words, comma, stock ticker, comma, no, I put it in as 2 words, I think it's 2, and API, all 3 initials capitalized. So I've got node, everything else is in lowercase but API. So node, comma, node.js, comma, stock space markets, comma, stock space ticker, comma, API. Okay, hit enter again. The author, of course, puts your name in there. The license, typically, I think we mentioned this already, but typically when you're putting in a license, you either put here, just accept the default, or you put in MIT. This is fine. So we're just going to hit enter. Now, everything should show on your pages right now as far as what's in there. All right. Is it okay? I mean, hopefully you made no mistakes, so it is okay. You can either type in yes and hit enter, or just hit enter. All right, and then clear your screen. Okay. All right. Now, for now, minimize, just for right now, minimize this Git window. And if you don't have your folder open, your nodes stock thing, in fact, you don't even need it open, right mouse click on the folder name. So right mouse click on Node.js stock app and choose open with code. All right, and that should have opened it. And right now what you've got in there is main.js and package.json, right? And main.js is closed. Open up your package.json file, please, the one we just did. And let's fix our scripts section. So in scripts, get rid of everything, and I mean everything, that's inside of those curly braces. You know, where it says test and echo and all that. Just get rid of all of it. So highlight it all and just hit the delete key. We could type over it. We could do other things. That's fine. Let's just do it like this. And type in double quotes, the word start, then a colon, space, node, space, main in double quotes, comma, and I'll repeat everything in just a second. Double quotes, dev, colon, Nodemon, main. So what I have in here then is this. Under scripts, after the first curly brace, double quote, the word start, double quote. Then a colon, 2 dots, not the semicolon, the 2 dots, then a space, then in double quotes, node, space, main, and a comma. No. Everything here is lowercase. Got that? And after that comma, hit enter. Then put in double quotes the word dev. Nothing special about that word, but DEV. in double quotes, colon, then in, a space, then in double quotes, Nodemon, Nodemon, space, main. All right, do a file, save, so that's saved. And we should have done this before, but it's not going to hurt anything. Go back to your window that you just had open, your Git Bash window, and let's install Nodemon. So it's Nodemon, Nodemon, space, install, space, minus capital D, space, all right, I'm sorry, it's not Nodemon install, it's Npm, space, install, space, minus capital D, space, Nodemon. So Npm, space, install, space, minus capital D, space, Nodemon. Okay? Hit enter. Take a second, you know that. But once it comes back and you get your prompt back again, you still got package.json up. You should now notice down near the bottom, you also now have in there dev dependencies. Okay, that's good. That's exactly what we want. All right. So from now on, when we run our app, we'll just type in npm space run space dev. Okay? All right. So let's see. We saved. Yeah, that's all good. All right. The next thing that we want to do is you can leave package.json up and running. That's fine. But minimize your VS Code screen. Bring back up your Git window. You know, when I say Git window, you know what I mean, right? Just the Git Bash. Clear the screen if you want to. If you got a lot of junk on it, I had enough. So type in the following: npm space install space express space minus minus save, and just stop right there. Okay? Don't even hit enter yet. We will in just a second. Now, just so you know, what I'd like you to do, because I want to make sure you get this, and you're a bright guy, so I think you do. But if you would please go out bring up a browser window and go out to expressjs.com. I know we've talked about some of this stuff already. I get that. All right. Is it up? All right. So you're at expressjs.com. You're at the home page for Express. All right. Nothing much in this home page. If you go over to Getting Started, see that link up near the top that says Getting Started? Just click that. And notice if we arrow down a little bit, can you see the npm install express minus minus save? If you need more of an explanation, rather than me reading to you, you can get it officially from here. Okay? So we just installed that, correct? Okay, so now you can go ahead and you can hit enter if you haven't already. And I'm doing the same. All right, problems? Okay, all right. Then in this same website that we're at, now go over, you just clicked on Getting Started, click on API Reference. And you see those two lines right near the top, the var express lines? Grab both of those, highlight both of them, copy them to your clipboard. Now bring up in Visual Studio Code, bring up your main.js file and plop them in there. Got it? Change the word var to the word const in both. And put a semicolon at the end. Let's be really specific here. So let's put a new line 1 in there and let's put in a comment. Comments in JavaScript, it's only going to be one line, so you can just do a // or if you want it, you can do a /*/ if you remember that. So I'm just going to put in here necessary node.js it's not probably the right word, but I'm gonna put it in there anyway, dependencies. All right, now, just so you know, it's gonna sound weird, but we're gonna put some more dependencies in here in just a bit, okay? So right now you've got 3 lines, correct? A comment between where you've got const express equal require and the const app, put a couple blank lines in there also. And put a comment right before your const app equal express and just have it say instantiate instance of express. That's not a dependency that you're doing right now. What you're doing is you're actually creating an existence of express with that line that you're going to be referring to throughout your program as app. Now hopefully what I just said at least makes a little bit of sense. Got all that? Mm-hmm. All right. After your const app equal express, hit enter a couple more times. We're going to put in one more comment. We're just going to put this after all of our constants. So this will be the last constant. And we're going to say set port number. Okay, and we may have done it like this before, we may not have. I don't remember. Now there's a big thing, and I probably have said this to you before, but again, as I think of stuff, I'm just throwing it out at you. And that is, there are people who are JavaScript purists who come from other languages and believe that every constant that you create should be in uppercase. All uppercase. If you see, we violated this already twice, right? So the port is something that is a constant. So most books, when they show the port, they do put PORT in uppercase. So we're going to put here const uppercase PORT equals. Now, again, we may have done this already. I don't remember if we did or not. The word process. No, all lowercase. Thank you. Process.env, all that in lowercase. Process.env dot, now port in uppercase. So you've got const port, we're not done with this line yet. Const, all in lowercase, space, port, all in uppercase, space, equals, space, process, all in lowercase, dot, so no blank space, env, all in lowercase, dot, the word port, all in uppercase. All right, you know where the pipe sign is above your enter key? Mm-hmm. So after the word port, hit the space bar and put in 2 pipes. And then put in 5,000. For some reason, I was having problems today with port 3,000. I switched to 5,000. Everything worked like a charm. So we've now got const space, port space, equal process.env.port, pipe sign 5,000, semicolon, hit enter. Now, the reason that this is important, when we get done with this, we probably won't finish it today, but when we get done with this, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to push this out to a cloud-based free package that's called Heroku. If you need more about it, and we're going to go over it, it's chapter 34 of your book. All right? But Heroku uses its own port. It figures out the port that it wants to use. So what we're saying is, hey, wherever we run this thing, if you've already got a designated port, use that. Or, in other words, if you don't, use port 5,000. Make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. That's typically the way that that's done. All right. Then, underneath that, hit enter a couple times. We're going to put in another comment here that says, verify all working thus far. Something like that. You can change that comment later. That's totally fine. All right, but for now, that'll be fine. Okay, so then underneath that, this is all in lowercase except for the word port. Okay, underneath that, we're going to put app dot or app period listen. Then in a set of parentheses, the word port, comma, an empty set of parentheses, space, equal sign, greater than sign, space, left curly brace, and hit enter. And I'm going to say that again. App.listen, and then in parentheses, the word port in all in uppercase, comma, paren, space, equal sign, greater than sign, space, left curly brace. And when you hit enter, it should put underneath that your right curly brace and the right parenthesis. At the end of that parenthesis, the last one, mine's line 13, yours is probably there or close, put a semicolon. All right? Then in between there, put in console.log. Then in parentheses, you know where those backticks are now. We've talked about that. Put in a set of backticks and just say server up and running on port. Okay. And then $, curly braces, and in between the curly braces, the word port. That one is in uppercase. So I'm going to read the whole thing back to you again. Console.log, parenthesis, backtick, server up and running on port. All that's in lowercase, blank space after everything. Then after the word port in lowercase, a blank space, a $, a left curly brace, the word port in uppercase, another curly brace, end your backtick, right parentheses, semicolon. You got all that? Mm-hmm. All right. So we're ready to at least test what we have so far. So let's do a file, save all. Let's go back to our Git window. I'm going to clear mine. It's up to you. It doesn't really matter. But we're going to type in here Npm Run Dev. Okay, now it's giving me a different message. Did yours work or did you get an error message?
Yeah, I got servers up and running on 45.
Okay, that's what it should say. For some reason, mine gave me an error message. Now I'm going to try switching back to 3000 and see if that works. It's the same doggone message I got this morning. So, and if one of ours is going to break, I think I've said this kind of thing to you before. I want it to be mine. I don't want yours to break. If mine does, I'll figure out what it is. And I think you'll figure out what yours is too. But no biggie. Why am I getting this? All right. It might be that I've got one of these windows. I might have it open with that. So I'm going to go and grab a bunch of these things that I got open here. Sorry about this. And just give me a second. I'm going to close a bunch of this. That's probably what this is. It looks like I've got it open already 3 or 4 times. All right, so let's try it again now with 5,000, see if it works. Still give me an error. I got to figure out what the problem is. Everything in there is syntactically correct. Doggone it. Express. I'm just going to try something here, so start with that. And start it up again. Oh. All right. See, I put a different address in there, and I'm still getting an error message that says that address is in use. It's one I've never even used. So why would it be doing that? I don't know. Why do I keep getting an error message? Well, yours is working, you said, right? Like I said, that's a good thing. I don't know what the heck is wrong with mine. I have no idea. All right. Well, we're going to keep going. All right. Now, from where you are, I know you've done this before. It's no big thing. Bring up a window in your browser and do your localhost :5000, and it should come up and say cannot find get / or something like that. Cannot get /. Yeah, good. That's good. We haven't written anything for that yet, so that's fine. All right. And like I said, I'll work on mine later and see what the heck, if I can figure out what the heck the problem is. All right. What I want to eventually do is I want us, with this site, I want it to be 3 pages. Your typical 3-page site will have a home page, an about page, and a contact page. For right now, because I had some other problems with other stuff this morning, okay, but we're only going to have 1 page. We're going to throw everything basically on that page, and we'll break it up next week. I'm not really worried about it one way or the other. All right. So what I'd like you to do is under your folder, so right under Node, make sure you're right under Node stock app. Go ahead and create a new folder. Call that new folder public. In Node stock app. Okay. Then right mouse, on that, with that folder highlighted there, make a new file in there. Just call it index.html. All right. Now, we're going to do some stuff, and it's going to sound screwy, for lack of better words. There's a reason behind it, so you'll have to, for lack of better words, just bear with me while we're going through this, okay? All right. So, go out to a browser window and go out to getbootstrap.com. Under getbootstrap.com, near the top of the screen, click the documentation link. Then, where you are right there, go down, find the starter template. Click the copy button that's on there, and go in and paste that into your index.html file. All right. Now, a couple things, because we're going to make changes. First of all, go to the title, which now says Hello World, and change that. This you can capitalize. Capital N, little ode, .js, space, big S, TOCK, space, big APP. So Node.js stock app, where the word node, the word stock, and the word app are capitalized, and everything else is in lowercase. All right? Okay. For the H1 tag that's there, let's just for now put the same thing in there. So copy the thing down from your title. So it says node stock app. So you've got it in there twice. All right? The only thing I'd like us to do, because we want this to be, for lack of better words, bootstrappy, the H1 that you just put in there, put that inside of a div called container. So div class equal container. And then end your div.
In the div, I know you can.
You've got your div class equal container, and then underneath that you've got your H1 Node.js stock app, and then the ending div after that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. Now we are literally going to be writing this, and we're going to be writing this as a we're going to be writing this as a server-side file, but we can check it now, so you can do this if you want to. So you can right mouse click on this, and you can choose open with live server. And then what you should see is just your H1 tag.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. I mean, you won't need to do very much with live server in here, because like I said, we're writing a server-side file. But just so you have an idea of where we are. All right. Well, let's see. All right, next, go back to getbootstrap.com again, where we just were. All right, and you probably still have your components thing. It probably says start template, but if you look on the side, it says components on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Okay, click that components. Scroll down in the components on the left and find navbar. And you see the first one that's there, it's got navbar, home link, drop down, etc. All the code's right below it. Copy all that code to your clipboard and paste all of that code in, but, so don't do it yet, but make sure that when you paste it in right above that div class equal container that you just put in, okay? So put it above that. All right, so that's your entire navbar. Save it. And for some reason, mine's not opening up anything in live server. It's just not doing anything right now. Let's see if this is all screwed up. Why is the live server's not even working now? Good gosh. Now, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we have to go over any of that code that's in there. All right? Let's just take a look, and I'm gonna, like I said, for some reason my live server isn't open. It's not opening at all. So, see if I can just open it up by double clicking on it. Yeah, it opened up. Huh, I don't know why. All right. So right now you've got, it says navbar, next to it says home, next to that it says link, then it says drop down, etc. Right? Okay. So eventually I'm going to ask that you play with this and pretty it up, so to speak, to make it look the way you want as far as colors and stuff go. I used a primary in there, so it was a bright blue. You don't have to do that. You can pick whatever color you want. That makes sense? All right, because like I said, I want you to start personalizing that. But with that in there, what I do want you to do is I want you to go back, and now we're going to be in Visual Studio Code. All right, and let's look at all the stuff that's in there that we just put in. All right. First of all, if you look right near the top of the navbar that we just put in, it's got navbar brand. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Change the word navbar. You're going to come up with something you want. It's going to be your tagline. Keegan Scott stock ticker. Whatever the hell you want. You know, KY stock whatever. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. But I want it to be something along those lines. For now, I'm just going to type in their stock ticker. It's not really what it is, but it's fine. All right.
Where it says navbar or the...
Where it's got the word navbar, yeah. All right. Then, as far as what else is in there, because I got to look at it now, unfortunately, I've got to keep this on 2 screens. All right, so what should have happened is that should have changed now if you go back and look at it, but you don't have to. It's no big deal. All right, then you've got home, link, drop down, and disabled, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. For now, and it's not going to work now when we do this, but we'll eventually fix it so that it does. All right, and then what I mean is, where you've got in there, someplace you've got an LI when you go down a little further that says home. Can you see that? There's a UL, and underneath that are a bunch of LIs. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you see where I am, correct?
On the home LI.
We're still in the nav bar. So where it's got a UL class equal navbar nav MR auto, then underneath it it's got, you see where I am?
Yeah.
All right. Underneath that home one, you see where it says link?
Nav link.
Yeah, the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Change the word link to the word about. Then those 3 lines, the LI, the A tag, and the LI, the ones that are right there, the ones with the word about in there, copy them to the clipboard and paste it right below where you are.
Which one? Sorry.
The LI with class equal nav item,
Mm-hmm.
the A tag with the about, and the ending LI.
Okay.
All right, and then change the word on that so it says contact. So that third one should say contact. Got all that?
Yeah.
All right, then down below that, there's an LI that's got a drop down. We don't want that. So highlight that. Then there's another one that's disabled. We don't want that. So remove both of those and save. Then refresh your screen. And you should have now in your nav bar, it should say stock ticker, then home, about, contact. Then way on the right-hand side, it should say search, and there's a button next to it. Do you have all that? Mm-hmm. All right. I just noticed it's not a big thing, but since I'm anal about everything, I spelled ticker wrong. There. All right. Again, you're going to come up later with your own catchy little, you can make a logo, you can grab one, you know what I'm saying? But you should set up eventually a favicon for this, and you should set up some kind of an icon that you're going to use. You know, give it a name. You know, like I said, if you want it to be KYST, Keegan Young Stock Ticker, that's totally fine. But it should look nice. It should be something that's personal to you. All right? Okay. All right. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do, I want you to take your mouse and I want you to put it, I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do this. Okay. The stuff that we're doing right now is stuff that we want to appear on every page. In other words, on every page, we want there to be a header, and on every page, we want there to be a nav bar, and on every page, we want there to be a footer. Does all that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. So for now, I want you to go down right up above where you've got those script tags way at the bottom of the screen. Right up above that, you might have a comment before that, you might not. It's no big thing. But let's go in there and let's add our footer. So put in a footer tag with a class equal footer. Yeah, I mean, something is goofed up on this. Right now, my auto thing that turns, puts the end of the tag, everything is, none of it's working. Not a thing. something is screwed up in here, but hopefully I can find out what it is. Underneath that footer tag, put in a div with a class equal to container. All right, and in that div, first thing I want you to do is to go up above. Well, we could have done it this way too. You know, right up above where you got that div class equal container, that h1 tag with a node stock app. Grab that whole div, cut it, and put it in there. Get rid of the div you just put in, so that div is in there. And if I confused you, which I did not mean to do, but if for some reason I did, you now have in there footer, class equal footer, and underneath that you've got div, class equal container, and then underneath that you've got an h1 Node.js stock app, correct? Okay, that's all good then. All right. Again, this is our footer, so we want to put in where we've got that h1, right after the h1, so before the end of that greater than, or the greater than sign for the h1 tag, put in their class equals display, all in lowercase, the word display, hyphen 4. All right?
Text center after that too, so
No. So what you should have is a less than sign, h1 space, class equals, double quote, display hyphen 4, double quote, then your greater than sign, then your node.js stock app, then your ending h1. That, if you got all that, that's exactly where you should be. In between that, or after that I should say, put in a p tag, and for that p tag, give it a class that's equal to lead, L-E-A-D. We're not going to put any text in there right now. We may end up using this later, we may not. We haven't figured it out yet whether or not we're going to. Okay, so save that, and we should now have, wow, that's neat. Like I said, we're going to have to take a break in just a minute because I got to figure out what this problem is. Now it's not showing me the footer. Is your footer showing?
I mean, I've got the h1 tag up there.
Do you have, I have the h1 tag too, but do you have, like I said, I'm trying to figure out what the heck the problem is. So